So for this year's baseball draft, I'm going to use the same strategy I've been using for the last few years. Now, I don't always win my league championship, but I've won several leagues. I'm always in 3 or 4 a year. I'm always in contention. Never one of them guys that finishes in the cellar with this strategy. So give it a listen here, see what you think. Try it out for at least one of your teams. I guarantee it's going to help you. So at the top of the draft, first few picks, I never take a pitcher. I always go hitters first. First, second, third, usually even maybe fourth pick. I'm going hitter, hitter, hitter. Doesn't even really matter. First base, outfield, whatever. Nothing but catcher. No catchers. So, and I mean, if you're in a position where you got the 14th or 15th pick and everybody's doing the same thing and you got a Kershaw or a Verlander type sitting there, then maybe I'll take a pitcher early like that. But for the most part, no. And my reason for that is I feel like you could always, every year get pitchers after the draft has ended. The first few weeks of the season, there's always some guys that start to show their face as good pitchers, and they end up having great years, end up in the top 10 in pitching, and they're undrafted free agents that you can get at any time. Last year, it was Francisco Liriano. He started out injured, came off the DL, had a start or two. I picked him up, left him on my bench for a start or two, and thought, all right, here we go. And I ended up getting 23 starts out of him. Bunch of wins in that brief period, strikeouts, kept my ERA low, and there's other dudes like that. Year before, I think I got Mike Leake from the Reds, picked up 10 or 11 wins, solid ERA for over 100 and something innings. So you're always going to get guys like that. Guarantee there's going to be 3 or 4 of them this year. Just look out for them guys that start out 2 or 3 starts into the season. They're looking all right. They're on winning teams. Don't be afraid to pick them up. If they lose, they blow their next couple of starts, and it's looking like it was a fluke, you can drop them. Look for guy 2. There's always going to be somebody. Guys coming off injury, they get a late start, they go undrafted for that reason. So then my second part is the thing that I always do is catcher. I don't really worry about catchers probably to the very last pick in the draft. Say if there's 10, 12 teams in your league, there's the same thing. If you don't get, there's 8, 9, 10 good catchers these days, guys with respectable stats for fantasy baseball. So if you don't get the very top catcher, don't worry about it. The guys that are the 3rd and 4th catchers aren't that different between the 10th and 11th catchers. How I always feel about it. And same thing, you might catch a guy that nobody saw coming off the radar. Free agent picked up, a couple weeks into the season, you see this catcher's hitting 295s, got a couple homers, scoring some runs, even stole a base or two, has some first base options, pick that guy up. Another guy that you didn't draft. You got yourself an outfielder, a pitcher, a closer, something like that around earlier because you weren't messing with a catcher to the very end of the draft. Closers I also hold off on. Now there's some guys that you just know, like an Aroldis Chapman type, guys like that you feel are just going to help you more so than just in saves, ERA, strikeouts, things like that. So if you want to draft them when it starts to be that time around where they're ranked appropriately, go for it. But I usually hold off on closers. What do you know? Same reason. Every year there's going to be 4 or 5 guys that go undrafted that are just relief pitchers that get the closing job early in the season. You'll end up getting 30 or more saves sometimes out of these guys. Even if it's late in the year, sometimes you'll pick up a guy, 2 or 3 guys throughout the year, and you'll end up with 30 or 40 saves out of them guys that went undrafted. So I hold off on closers unless it's the really good ones. I like to nab a guy or 2. I don't want to get left out of the race. You want to get you a closer or 2, but just don't be one of them guys that needs to draft 4 or 5 closers. I never ever draft more than 3, and then I pick up another 1 or 2 throughout the year. Starting pitching, same way. If everybody has this strategy and the great starting pitchers are falling, go for it. Catchers, wait to the very, very end. I don't care who it is. Nobody's that worth it at catcher. Wait to the end. You can get a good catcher there. You can get good starting pitching from the free agent market. Now, you want to draft pitchers. Don't wait till the 11th, 12th, 13th round to start taking pitchers, but just go hitter heavy early in the draft. Get you some middle of the road. Them guys ranked, 60, 70, 80th range starting pitchers. I can't think of any examples right now, but Chris Medlin, these type of guys maybe. Last year, I don't even know, but they're out there, trust me. And I think I'm ranking Mike Trout number 1 this year. We'll see where Yasiel Puig ends. He could be up there also, but I'm going to have to see how spring training goes for him. I'll give kind of an updated ratings as this gets a little closer to the season. Right now, this is pre-spring training, but I already know my draft strategy. Just don't know really who to place into the names with these spots. That'll all be coming.